listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Let me give you a little preview. So with Accessibility 3.0, we first of all avoid the splitters and aggregators because all of that is going to be handled by our accessibility. Now in our accessibility, instead of writing the access self for just one report entry, we are writing it for the whole report data. Number one, right. We are creating a loop that, for each report entry, perform the following until the loop closes. Right. So no need for splitter now. And no need for aggregator. Also, that will only generate one file. Am I right? So with User Accessibility 3.0 we have now, you can definitely ask me a Jeep. What if I do make the version of XLG style sheet by writing the version XL 3.2? I can do that. Still, this accessibility will perform the same way it has been performing, except there will be one difference. You will not be able to see this. Okay. In addition, Accessibility 3, a mode called a stream mode. Screen okay. Okay, now this is something very technical. Do you know what buffering is? Yeah, it's a temporary. Storing right at the temporary memory. How can I create a bucket over here? I can create a pentagon, then a circle on it. Let's assume this is a bucket. Okay, don't laugh my drive. Select it. I want to copy this. Where is the select? There is normally a cursor button right to select. Okay, here. Oh, there is a person that say, oh, that's select. All of this. Let's say there is a person B here. There's a person B here. What they have to do is they have to fill a bucket, this one. Okay, fill the bucket with water. Go all the way here, fill this bucket. Okay, they have unlimited buckets. It's their choice whether they can handle 4, 5, 6 buckets at one time or however they want to do. Now what will? A do user will wait for the full bucket to fill. Then a will carry and all the way carry the you can say. Heavy bucket. Till here. Fill this one, the one at this end. Now A and B both are athletes. Why I say that? Because one is accessibility 2.0 and one is accessibility 3.0. Both are machines. They are not going to get tired. Right? But heavy load can slow their processing. Understand? Okay, the analogy. Okay, understanding. Now, B is a bit smart. That's why it's the next version or the upgraded version. What it will do is it will fill the bucket only. Okay, then it will run all the way. Fill this bucket and run all the way back. So actually, when this all is happening, the average is B is taking around 5 seconds to complete this full bucket. Whereas A is taking around 15 seconds to complete and fill this bucket. You understand the concept. So the problem with A is it cannot work until the bucket is full. That's how it has been coded. Now, what I want to say is with accessibility, 2.0 and too low unless you have loaded the full input file in memory. In the accessibility always loads the input in memory and transforms it in the memory. When I say memory, it's a Java concept. There is a heap memory and so let's not go there. But just for the sake of understanding, let's understand that this will take this whole bucket and load it in memory. So memory will be occupied. Let's say your computer is RAM. So let's say both applications are same. The one is actually Oxygen 1.0 and then the second is Oxygen 2.2. This is running SLT. It's going to consume your computer's RAM. Let's say you have a 100 MB input file. It's going to occupy 100 MB in your computer's RAM. Definitely is not going to be what you can say much of heavy task for your laptop. It may be 8 GB or 16 GB, 100 MB is nothing. But in comparison, what this is going to do is this is going to take 1 MB of input file transform, send it. Then take another MB transform, send it. Then take another MB transform, send it. So any which way, let's say you have opened everything in your laptop, where even your 8 GB is getting full. This operation will fail or will take more time until or unless it has the memory space in the RAM, and this operation will continue with no loss. If we talk about the relativity, okay, did I make sense or because it sounded like sensible in my head, but definitely I just want you to know that whether you were able to picturize what I wanted to say, yes, I got your point. Yeah, got my point. Okay, perfect. Thanks for looking at my bad drawing. Okay, so this is again one of the major difference between XL3 and 2. Okay with this is the XSL3 is very faster. We have not used the stream mode as of now. Okay, but there is an option to use that. Okay, in as a whole, XL3 is itself too much faster that I never got a chance to use the stream mode. Okay, stream mode. Yeah, you can definitely Google it. You will get it. Okay, how to use it? You will get it, but there is a lot of policy in that. You have to read a lot, study a lot. But I'm saying from Workday perspective, I don't think so. You will get to a position where you will have to use XSL3. Itself is very fast. Avoiding splitter and aggregator itself is very fast. Now I will tell you how I am telling you all this now. I'm going to show you. This is like one of my integrations. Okay, I created in one of my project. Okay, what happened was there were 80,000 employees. There were how many 8,000, 80,000 employees? So like I had validations for. Each field assesses not present. First name is not present. Now legal last name is not present. So there were around like 20 fields, out of which 10 were mandatory fields. Getting women, or let's say 11 were mandatory fields. Now there were 11 mandatory fields, 80,000 employee, and the tenant data was not copied properly as of now. There were errors from the data conversion team. The data was not properly filled. Now what is the worst case scenario? That all 80,000 employees do not have all those 11 mandatory fields. That is the worst case scenario, right? But everyone's going to have employee ID. Everyone's going to have name. Those can't be missing. So let's assume out of those 15 mandatory or 12 mandatory, whatever it is for me, there were 10 mandatory fields which were missing for every employee. Can you tell me how many? Validation messages would have my accessibility have captured in that case. 80,000 employees and validation errors for every employee. How many messages in XLT if we use cloud, the cloud log, and then again we can or we cannot use no but no. So okay. This is my accessibility and this is an error, right? How I am throwing this error I'm throwing this error through XSL message. I showed you other day on Oxygen how XSL message gets thrown out, right? Yeah, I'm storing this message anywhere. No, right, but Studio has this like Workday has defined this variable for us. I told you that also. Write accessibility step.messages. Okay, that is every XSL message I'm going to throw through. My XSLT is going to be captured in this variable props. SXLT step.messages. It's an array. So collection object. So 8 like messages I threw through my XLT there. All 8 like messages were captured in this XSLT messages. Right. Right. Then the shadow. Now if I consider the size, if I calculate the size of this accessibility step.messages, it's gonna be 8 lakh. Makes sense. Now, I told you other day, Workday allows me, like you know how the loop works. Venkat, tell me how it works. It's an incremental value. It's an increment until it reaches. It reaches the number, whatever the number we define. Let the number we define, or basically the top value at which we want the loop to end. Right now, in this case, I would want my loop to start from 0 and end at 8 lakh. Is that right? That is right now by default. Studio has this weird. Now I came to know because I was testing for this in one of my projects. The Studio has this weird tendency to define the repeat limit to 50,000 by default. Okay, now that means my loop was not running after 50,000. I was leaving 7,50,000 validation messages still in the queue. I was not able to read through it because my loop was stopping at 50,000 by default. Then I read about it in the Workday community. Okay, then they said we can override this value. Okay, we can provide a value of our own. Right. But if you provide any value greater than 2 lakh, it's gonna give you an error. So even by overriding, you cannot have the repeat limit. More than 2 lakhs. Now still I have 6 lakh validation messages to attend to now as any developer, and whether you are SQL, whether you are Java, or you're going to be a Workday developer now. Think this is like basic computer science. Okay, think how can I run a loop when my limit is controlled? I want to run the loop till 8 lakh. But I am only able to run it till 2 lakhs. So tell me when, Kurt. So what did you think of? Tell me your approach. Is there any other way that we can? We can use another loop strategy. Loop strategy. We have to create a new strategy. Tell me more. Loop strategy component. Yes, we can definitely use more than one loop strategy. Okay? And the second loop strategy we can do another 200. Another 200 like the increment value. We can set it to where we stopped in first loop strategy. And then the second loop strategy we can wait. For example, let's stop 200,000 employees. That means 2 lakhs employees. Okay, and then check the in loop strategy. We can start from 2 lakhs, 2 lakh 1 from there. We can start to 4 lakh. Yeah, and then third one. And then third one, right? Yes, from 4 lakh 1 to 6 lakh. Then fourth one, 6 lakh 1 to 8 lakh. Okay, this is when we know that, okay, the maximum can be 8 lakh messages. Yeah, what if there are only 2 lakh messages? What will you do in other loops that? You mean other fields throwing an error? No, I'm just saying, let's say there are not 8 lakh validations. Let's say if there are only 100 validations now, what will the remaining 6 loops do in this case? If there is a condition also that if it's 6 lakh, run 3 loops. If it's 8 lakhs, run 4 loops. If it's 2 lakhs, done only 1 loop, right? You're going to have to put conditions like that also now. Let's say the customer. You implemented this integration for hires another 20,000 employees in next year and another 20,000 employees in another year. Are they going to consult your firm? Okay, send us when cut back so that he can implement two more loops here, two more loops here. Okay, now tell me. Think about it. So what you are saying is a static solution, right? What we are looking for is a dynamic solution. Uh, did I make sense when I asked you those questions? Yes, it makes sense here. So in real world, you have to think like this, that whatever code you write today, yeah, whatever happens tomorrow, whether that company goes up to be the number one, hires another 100,000 or not, as a coder, as a developer, always make sure that your code is never going to fail. The sun may rise from the west, but your code can never fail. This is the first you know. I think we can say, as a developer, we have or we follow. Not everyone does it, but if you do it, you are going to reach zenith. So I always make sure, like I always write a code in a way that customer does not get trouble tomorrow. See, they paid. They pay a lot of money to our firms. Doesn't matter our firms then don't pay to us, but they paid it. Okay? They should not be the one who should get suffered. So always write a code as take 5 hours, 10 hours more, take 20 hours more. Tell them I'm working on this so that in future you don't have a problem. They will only appreciate you. They will never say, okay, this guy took 20 more hours. Okay. So think about it once again. Though your approach was right, we definitely have to use more than one loop. But how can it be dynamic? So you are going in the right direction. So basically, a challenge here is when good that your one loop is only going to run 2 lakh times. Yeah. Okay, let me give you a hint. See, whatever I write inside, a loop will repeat until I have reached the upper limit, right? Right. What if I write a loop inside a loop? Okay, now think about it. Actually, like you mentioned, loop within the loop is called a nested loop, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's say with the employee first name. Right, employee first name is missing. Let's say employee SN number is missing. So within the loop, how we can write nested loop is that let's say once the employee ID is validating with the employee ID. It's validating. Was the first name is missing, and then now first name is missing, and then print increment value up to 2 lakhs, and then within the nested loop once it reaches 2 lakhs, and then again we can write another loop within the loop, right? And then again it says it prints from 2 lakh 1 to 4 lakh, like that. In the same log, and that is the same. That's right, partially right, but not properly. But okay, let me say, consider this. I have a control loop. And a print loop. Okay, so my control loop will run my print loop. Right. Print loop will always run. Now control loop will define. For print loop. Okay, that is. When control loop is running for the first time, print loop is gonna run from 0 to 2 lakh. When control loop is running for the second time, print loop is gonna run for 2 lakh to 4 lakh. And so basically, if I run my control loop 5 times, I can have 10 lakh loop validations. 10 lakh loop runs, right? Right. Yeah. So basically, how much times this print loop is running gets multiplied by the number of time control loop is running. Okay, makes sense? Yeah. Okay, so this is what I have done in my workstation. Now understand. I'm going to first ask or calculate the total size of validation messages. Right? Right. Total size of validation messages. So let's say it's whatever 8 lakh, 9 lakh, 6 lakh. Let's say 6 lakh. So I have to understand that my print loop will run from 0 to 6 lakh. Am I right? I know it cannot run more than 2 lakhs. So in this case, print loop will run 3 times, right? That is 0 to 2 lakh, 2 to 4 lakh, and 4 to 6. Right. So basically, what I put it, I do. So control loop will run for 3 times. Right. And print loop will run always from 0 to 2 lakh. Now let's consider my scenarios whether tomorrow the organization hires 20,000 employees. Hires 50,000 employees, but there are 80 lakh validation messages. There are 10 lakh validation messages. How does that matter? All that have to be divided by 2 lakh, and whatever the number is going to be the number for control loop. Yeah, so basically, if I run my control loop for 2 lakh times, so how many validation messages can I print? 2 lakh into 2 lakh. Do you think any organization is ever gonna have those many employees? I don't think that there is like entire population in that country. Yeah, let alone one organization hiring those many people. Yeah, so this approach will run all the time, even if they have 100 employee error only. Then the control loop will run for 1 time, print loop will run for 100 times. Yes, so I am now. This is a dynamic solution, not a static solution. Okay, I'm going to decide dynamically how many times my loops run, but always there are gonna be 2 loops. No more than that. Did I make sense? Okay, so for this, look for this loop for loop and then take any memory or anything like that, like it slows down when this condition runs internally. So I'm going to tell you like when I was trying to do it with splitters and aggregator, my integration was running for 2 hours and 55 minutes. When I did it with accessibility 3 and using this loops approach, when digression ran in 15 minutes. Okay, 1 5. Do you understand the time difference between aggregator and accessibility 3? Yeah, that's the difference. That's how was difference between the processing is, which is why now Workday recommends always use accessibility 3.0. Got yeah. Okay, let's look at how I did it in the actual code. Uh, okay. So see a sync before loop 1, then this is loop 1. This is basically my control loop. This is my print loop write print loop. We have already seen the code is exactly same. You know that fetching messages. Great fetching the messages. It's the same. Oh, uh, now what I'm doing here is I might have created some this loop variables over here. Now the loop when runs from 0 to 1,99,999. It's already 2 lakhs, alright? Yeah. Yeah, understand. Now we are counting from 0 now. Yeah. So I take the max count as 1,99,999. Now whatever size I get, whatever size validation I get, I divide it by this number. This is what I discussed, right? Divided by 2 lakh. Whatever number you get, run the above loop for that number. Yeah, sometimes when cut, sometimes there are going to be chances when there are 6 lakh and 54,000 messages. Alright? Yeah, right. So first 3 times my print loop has to run for 0 to 2 lakh. But for the 4th time, it has to run only for those 54,000 messages. Is if I give the index x 54001 is going to give me an error because there is no value at that index. Make sense? So in Java we have this operator called modulus operator. You see this percentage sign? Yeah, that's a modulus operator. Now what modulus is? Modulus is basically remainder. If you divide one number by another number, then whatever is left, that's modulus. Okay, 10 divided by 2, what will be the modulus? 5 will be questioned, not remainder. The remainder is going to be 0. Yeah, yes, 9 divided by 2. What's the question and what's the remainder to 4? 8. Yeah, 2 4s are 8, right? Yeah, so 9 minus 8, 1 is your modulus and 1 is the remainder. And 4 is your question. Modulus is do the count and modulus max count. So let's have select 54,000, select 54,000 divided by 2 lakh. What's the remainder? That remainder is 54,000. Now if you divide anything in computers, in calculators, how they are going to divide 6, like 54,000 by 2 lakh. They are going to give you answer in decimals, right? Yes, that's right. We don't want decimals. So this is why I use this function java.math.flow. What it will do is, you have any value. 3.9 floor will give the answer 3. You have value 3 quant floor will give answer 3. You have value 4.6 floor will give value for basically. The lower value to this. Expression in that's for the upper value is going to be 5. That's what we get from math.ceil. Ceil is another function in Java. So I've used math.floor function. Why? Because I do not want the decimal thing. I only want the number of what is questioned. Give me the question. Right? Right. Give me the question. Give me the remainder now. I will know how to run my loops. I have my question. I know the control loop will run for 3 times. Right? And then I would check whether do I have anything in remainder or not. If I have anything in the middle, then I will run the loop one more time. Right from 6 lakh to 6,54,000. That will be the limit. And see, these are my loop parameters. I'm starting the loop. No, so next time I'm starting the loop where it ended, like you said. So first time my loop's gonna end at 2 lakh, then my start count is going to be 2 lakh. But then what is going to be my end count? End count is props max count in the props loop count. So what time I am running my loop? If I'm running this loop for the second time, my max count is 2 lakh. So my end count is going to be 4 lakh. If I am running this loop for the third time, my end count is going to be 6 lakh. Are you getting? Yes, am I making any sense? Yeah. What is that? And what max count after max count? What is the multiplication sign? Okay, multiplication sign. Okay, I'm multiplying. Okay, and this loop is only running from start count to max count to the end count until this is end count. Keep on running. The repeat limit is 2 lakh. So basically, when could I told you this particular async? It's gonna run How many times this loop will run? Right? Everything after this loop is gonna repeat until this loop has ended. Right? Same goes for this loop. Everything after this loop will repeat until this loop has ended. So, which is why this is my control loop. This is my print loop. Do I make sense? Can you write this code? Yes. Now there will be one condition. Okay, you can't ask me. The logic. I will help you in case of syntax errors. I will help you in case of work, the studio errors. I will not help you with the logic. You are never going to ask me a cheat. Okay, I am running my first loop for 0 to 2 lakh. What should I do now? But I want to multiply this, but I am not getting the syntax. Can you tell me it will help you? Okay, but I will not tell you the logic. Remember this anchor the day any teacher starts giving you the logic, starts explaining you the logic. He's making you paralyzed for the world. Yeah, that's true. So I will never give you the logic. I have explained you so nicely. You're going to understand it well, but you are going to have to write it on your own. Okay, I'm not even going to share this code with you. Alright. So any question in Accessibility 3 and how we fetch messages to Accessibility 3? This one, the create error, log the fetch message. Can you click on this? Yes, you explain me this one. The last class was the security. How? So this is basically same. What I'm doing here is okay. Let me tell you what I'm doing here is if you look at my accessibility, okay. I am messaging. I am printing legal last name in laws present. Then I am giving another separator, which is pipe first. I'm giving a comma, then I'm giving a pipe, then I'm saying, give me the value of employee ID. So you remember I was telling you there is another way to do it now, why I am getting this employee idea outside. Now I will tell you. So in my cloud log, okay, after this I'm calling cloud log. So in this cloud log, I am giving the reference ID as employee ID, which is why I need employee ID outside my accessibility block. Right, what we did yesterday. We did not need employee ID for the cloud log ID. Right, got my point. So basically, I am getting the message again. There are two separators now, one is comma and one is pipe. Yeah, right before comma. I have the severity message, same thing after comma. I have my error message after comma, but before separator to before pipe after comma. But before pipe, I have my error message from pipe till end. From pipe till end, separated to. I have the employee ID. C till comma the severity of the message. From comma till pipe the error message. After pipe, the employee ID. And that's what has been implemented here. Do I make sense? Yeah, accessibility 3. You can use this loop, but I'm not gonna give you to loop logic that you have to write on your own. Yeah, and your master activity 3 is gonna be this. I'm telling in well in advance to prepare. I'm going to ask you to write from scratch. And without any splitter or aggregator, write the accessibility 3 and capture the validation messages. Got Alright, that's all for today. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.